More than 40,000 will jam into Comerica Park to celebrate the return of baseball to Detroit. Thousands of others will be on the periphery of the ballpark and around town to bask in the day as well. Another baseball season begins in this great baseball city, and the defending world champs are here to help open the home schedule starting 30 minutes from now on FSN and on TV 20. With great delight, we say welcome to our coverage of opening day. Welcome inside Comerica Park. I'm John Keating. You know by now the old saying, you can't win them all. Well, the Harlem Globetrotters might have been a little fearful about their record having the highest winning percentage ever. Tigers did lose on Sunday, so they come home after a very fine 5-1 road trip. The first game in Detroit completes a full circle for their new manager. There's Jim Leyland walking right behind me. He started as a Tiger catching prospect some 4 decades ago, and the opening day introduction that is about to befall him, you know, will be truly something special to this baseball veteran.
I think that's something that you only know personally. I don't know how I'm going to feel. You know, I know my brother's going to be there, my wife and kids are going to be there, so that'll be a thrill. And you know, like I say, you know, to be the manager of the Detroit Tigers, I mean, that's a big thrill. It's a big thrill to manage any major league team, but this is kind of special for me. But I always try to keep it that way. I mean, I'm not the focus here. The players are the focus here, and I'll just keep that as a special little memory for myself.
Well, Jim Leyland is trying very hard not to get too excited about his team start, and one of the reasons for that excitement is the guy to my left. So I'm working on this little Red Wings show, and I hear somebody say that Chris Shelton has 2 triples in 1 baseball game, and I'm thinking I need more sleep, or I got to lay off the ginger ales, one of the two. Congratulations on your start.
Thank you, and I think it's both. I mean, I couldn't believe it either, but you know, it was exciting, it was fun, and hopefully we can continue the ride here at home.
Is 5-1 better than you imagined for your group coming out of spring training?
The way we came out of spring training and playing the way we did with the confidence that we had, no. I mean, I also go ahead and step on a limb and say no, it wasn't. I felt like we played really well in the last part of spring, and you know, it just came in and we're playing great defense, and you know, our pitching's been great, and we're getting timely hitting. That's the biggest thing. Well,
Sunday didn't go so well for you, but you are the American League's Offensive Player of the Week. Congratulations on that. How well are you seeing the baseball right now?
You know, things are going good there. I mean, you know, like you said, yesterday was not good by any means. We lost, but that's the biggest thing. I just did. It was something that. I tried to do too much up there, but I just need to come back and you know, play well today.
Last opening day, you were a mud hen this time of year. How different? How has your world changed?
A lot. I mean, you know, like you said, last year I was, you know, in Toledo on opening day and watching the game up here on TV from down there. But this year is an exciting time. It's been exciting, and opening day is fun all the time.
The place will be full. Are you nervous? Will there be some butterflies?
There's always there's always nerves, especially when it's opening day. You want to come out and perform well, and hopefully we can get the first one out of the way with the win and go forward.
White Sox, pretty good test for your team. Nothing against Kansas City and Texas, but even though they've had kind of a tough start, they're on a different level than the teams you've seen thus far.
Yeah, you know, we kind of ran into some teams when you know, things weren't going well. We just got to continue to come out here and play against the White Sox, and you know, continue the way we've been playing. You know, playing good baseball, defensively, getting good pitching, and hopefully, you know, we can hit the ball.
Average has plummeted to 583. See what you can do about that this afternoon.
Yeah, I'll see what we can do.
All right. Chris Shelton, here the Tigers getting set to take on the White Sox. Have a great day. We appreciate your time.
Thanks.
All right, we've got more ahead as opening day coverage continues on FSN Detroit and on TV 20. Some people here are actually excited to see a ball game. There are others who are people just excited to see other people, but there's no place like Comerica Park for Game 1. We'll be joined by big baseball fans Mario Impemba and Ron Allen as we continue from downtown Detroit. The Tigers pregame show on FSN Detroit and TV 20, brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability, and by Tractor Supply, the stuff you need out here. Officially 41,070 expected here for opening day in Detroit, and it'll be another bus stop. Detroit's own Jerome Bettis off a particularly important football victory across the street at Ford Field has come home to throw out the first pitch in his native Detroit. And there is the bus who will throw out the first pitch along with Kwame Kilpatrick. Well, we venture upstairs into our booth and we join our boys of summer, Mario Impemba and Rod Allen. Will describe Tiger baseball all summer long. Happy opening day to each of you guys. Can you remember your first?
My first opening day, well, I think education was so important to me, Keith, that I never made opening day. I would never play hooky to come to opening day. And I don't think that you should go on the air telling kids to miss school to go to opening day. It's just not right.
My first opening day, Keating's, was 1984 when the Tigers came back to Tiger Stadium after Jack Morris threw that no-hitter in Chicago, and the round of applause that he received sent goosebumps through my body. I will never, ever forget that day.
Well, if education was so important, Mario, what happened?
I don't know. I was just kidding. Of course you should play hooky today. You know, as far as memories, you know, just coming to the ballpark and no specific memories about players or what might have happened in a game. It's just coming down to the ballpark and having the fun and the big party that it is here in Detroit.
Well, I've not been a part of your 5-1 start. I'm hoping not to queer the deal, so to speak, because the Tigers have done very, very well with you guys describing their play. Rod, what has separated this team from what we've seen in starts past?
Well, we've talked about the offense quite a bit, John, but really that's not what has enabled them to get off to a 5-1 start. Their pitching has been exceptional, and they have not made an error yet. They've had some timely hitting, but by and large, the hitting has not won for them. It's been their pitching and their defense, and that's one of the things that Jim Leland says this team must do if they're going to be in the hunt and play some meaningful games in the month of October. They have to pitch well and defend, and they have done that.
Mario, you've been around this team since spring training. How much of a difference have you perceived Jim Leland to make?
Big difference, Keith. I think, you know, one of the main things is he showed up in the locker room in spring training and automatically there was that respect factor right there. And, you know, I think that this team is a pretty good blend of young guys and veteran guys. And the veteran guys, you know, are treated like adults, so to speak. At least that's what they're saying. And, you know, they're doing their job right now. The young guys are being brought along. And I think Jim Leland has had a terrific impact on this ball club. And hopefully that'll continue to be the case.
Right now, gentlemen, the Tigers, Pistons, and Red Wings are all in first place. That has not happened since April of 1988. Hopefully that trend will continue down the stretch, eh?
It'd be nice. I mean, this team has a chance to win, in my opinion. They've got all the necessary components, great leadership. If the lineup stays healthy, they're going to hit the baseball. And if this young pitching comes the way that we've seen Zumaya and Tata and Verlander, they could be difference makers. And I'm just looking forward to having a successful season. And make no mistake about the importance of getting off to a good start, 5-1 on the road. But they need to duplicate that here on this homestand, at least win the homestand against Chicago and Cleveland, if other people are going to take them seriously.
All right, guys, you're over the air today. We checked the lineup. Jerry Springer is being preempted over there on Channel 20. So see if you can add a little spice over the course of the afternoon.
No problem.
All right.
All right, Rod and Mario talking Tigers and White Sox as opening day continues from downtown Detroit. Still to come, the starting lineups for the Chicago White Sox, and you'll meet all of the 2006 Detroit Tigers on a very festive day at Comerica Park. The 5-1 first place Tigers, we might add. You're watching our coverage of Tiger baseball on this Monday afternoon on FSN Detroit. If there are rookie jitters, we have yet to see them. Curtis Granderson won the job as the Tigers' starting center fielder and leadoff hitter. He's the subject of our Just for Men target spotlight. On-base percentage is huge for a #1 hitter. Grandy reached base all 4 times on Sunday, 2 hits and 2 walks. Versus the Rangers, Curtis Granderson will become the target of many. There may have been some of the worst acting seen today since the Love Boat. People making up stories to their bosses about why they couldn't report for work today. Who could deny them the chance to be a part of the party that is going on in downtown Detroit? Opening day has forever been something special in the city of Detroit, and our Ryan Field takes us outside the ballpark into the party goers.
All right, Keats, thank you very much. You have one of the best seats in the house. Where you don't want to be today is at the end of this line. It is the will call line. People waiting for tickets, hoping to get some last-minute seats here for opening day, and that's where we find our good friends Kevin and Beth. Flew in all the way from New Orleans hoping to get a ticket for today. Sir, are you feeling confident at this point?
Hurricane Katrina couldn't even keep us away from Detroit Tiger baseball. So we're here for the opening day experience.
And as we're coming to find out today, Beth, opening day, there's really nothing like it, is there?
There's nothing. I've never been to an opening day, been to many, many Major League fields before, but this is a first, and I'm really wanting to get a ticket to get in.
Are you guys at the point of desperation now, or are you going to do anything to get into this game?
Just about any. I'm from New Orleans, so I'll do just about anything.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I think we're getting to that point, and you know the Tigers are off to a great start, 5-1, sir. Really above everybody's expectations at this point, right?
Yeah, we're off to a great start. You have to support the home team opening day. It's a beautiful day to be here at the ballpark, but 5-1, pretty good start for us.
5-1, and all these fans are hoping to get in, Keats. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Some last-minute tickets hoping to become available. More than 41,000 plus going to be on hand this afternoon. We'll send it back to you inside.
All right, Ryan, right on cue. The sun has popped back out. Tigers and White Sox coming up. This Tigers team, based in part on their 5-1 start, is very, very loose. There was a moment during batting practice when Craig Monroe turned and waved to a couple of elderly women fans and, hey, how you doing? Well, the hitting coach of the Tigers, Don Slaughter, was quick to remind Craig, you're hitting 8th. How good do you think you can be? Craig Monroe is one of those guys who's been around this town long enough to know how special baseball fans in the city of Detroit happen to be, particularly when it comes to their team, the team on the field wearing the Old English D. All right, we're going to join our public address announcer. Bob Vergils is introducing the guys from across the lake, the starting lineup for the Chicago White Sox.
Number 38, Pablo Ozuna. And number 5, Juan Uribe. The reserve outfielders, number 44, Brian Anderson. And now the White Sox starting lineup. First, Chicago's manager in his 3rd season as the White Sox skipper, number 13, Ozzie Guillen. Leading off and playing left field, number 22, Scott Podsednik. Batting second and playing second base, number 15, Tadahito Iguchi. Batting third, the designated hitter, number 25, Jim Thome. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 14, Paul Konerko. Batting fifth and playing right field, number 23, Jermaine Dodd. Batting sixth and catching, number 12, A.J. Pierzynski, who is out in the bullpen. Batting seventh and playing third base, number 24, Joe Creedy. Batting eighth and playing center field, number 10, Rob Makoviak. Batting ninth and playing shortstop, number 8, Alex Cintron. And the starting pitcher warming up in the White Sox bullpen, number 34, Freddie Garcia. And now for your 2006 Detroit Tigers. Beginning with the trainers and clubhouse staff. The head athletic trainer, Kevin Rand. Assistant athletic trainer, Steve Carter. Assistant athletic trainer, Doug Teeter. The clubhouse manager, Jim Schmeichel. Assistant clubhouse manager, John Nelson. Clubhouse assistant, Tyson Steele. Video operations, Jeremy Kelch. and video operations assistant, Andy Bjornstad. And now the Tiger coaches. Number 17, Rafael Belliard. Number 55, Chuck Hernandez, out in the bullpen. Number 22, Gene Lamont. Number 21, Lloyd McClendon, out in the bullpen. Number 34, Don Slaught. Number 18, Andy Van Slyke. Number 00, Javar Gillette. And number 99, Scott Pickens, out in the bullpen. And now the Tigers reserve pitchers. Number 49, Jason Grilli. Number 59, Todd Jones. Number 46, Mike Moran. Number 29, Nate Robertson. Number 56, Fernando Rodney. Number 37, Kenny Rogers. Number 44, Bobby C. Number 48, Chris Sperling. Number 53, Jordan Tata. Number 35, Justin Verlander. Number 32, Jamie Walker. And number 54, Joel Zumaya. Catcher, number 13, Vance Wilson. And the infielders, number 20, Omar Infante. Number 39, Ramon Santiago. And outfielder, number 33, Marcus Tim. And now the Tigers starting lineup. First, Detroit's manager in his first season as the Tiger skipper, number 10, Jim Leland. Leading off and playing center field, number 28, Curtis Granderson. Batting second and playing second base, number 14, Placido Polanco. Batting third and catching, number 7, Ivan Rodriguez. Batting fourth and playing right field, number 30, Maglio Ordonez. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 25, Dimitri Young. Batting sixth and playing first base, number 26, Chris Shelton. Batting seventh and playing shortstop, number 9, Carlos Guillen. Batting eighth and playing left field, number 27, Craig Monroe. Batting ninth and playing third base, number 15, Brendan Inns. And the starting pitcher this afternoon, warming up in the Tigers bullpen, number 38, Jeremy Bonderman. Fans, we now ask you to stand and direct your attention to the area behind second base for the presentation of America's colors. Presenting today's colors is the Selfridge Base Honor Guard. And following our national anthem, a military flyover will take place overhead featuring Air National Guard F-16s from the 180th Fighter Wing of Swanton, Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask that you remain standing as we honor America. Please welcome a legendary Motown group and multi-platinum recording artists, the Contours, featuring Sylvester Potts, as they lead us in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
I went as far as I could, tried to find a new face. There isn't one of these lines that I would erase. Lived a million miles of memories on that road. Every step I take, I know that I'm not alone. You take the home from the boy, but not the boy from his home. These are my streets, the only life I've ever known. Who says you can't go home? Who says you can't go home?
in his first season as the Tiger skipper, number 10, Jim Leland.
Yes, you really can come home, and for Jim Leland, it is a dream come true as he opens up the season at Comerica Park wearing the Old English D. Happy opening day, round 2. In downtown Detroit, it's the Chicago White Sox and the Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen holding down the fort here in Party Central. We are having a great time here in downtown Detroit as the Tigers open up the home season here. And Rod, what better way to do it than to have a terrific start on the road? But Jeremy Bonderman gets to start today. He's got to be pumped up.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you get an opening day start in Comerica Park, it's going to be awfully special. He dominated last year. We'll expect him to dominate once again.
Jeremy Bonderman all set to go. 106th home opener for the Tigers. White Sox in town. Stay tuned. First pitch coming up next.
Come here, guys. Look at our field. We can't play.
For the first home game of the season, action underway, and the White Sox Scott Posetnik in the batter's box pops it up in foul ground, third base side. Brandon Inge measures it and makes the play, and we are underway today in Detroit. We'll check out the scouting report today on the Tigers right-hander young Jeremy Bonderman.
We all know that Jeremy has an exceptional fastball and a very good slider, but he is really starting to locate both of those pitches, which will help him get better this year. He's an ace, but he's pitching in the number 2 spot for the Tigers. And first for the fans again, getting the opening day nod here in Comerica Park for the second consecutive season.
And he was outstanding last year against the Kansas City Royals on opening day in Detroit. He beat him again this year on opening day in Kansas City, and here he is again on opening day, this time against the Chicago White Sox. Iguchi with a half-hearted swing falls behind in the count 0-2. Iguchi, the White Sox second baseman, in a 1-for-10 slump. Bonderman's 0-2 is just off the outside corner. Man, was that close, and Jeremy wanted strike 3. Game time temperature 54 degrees today from Comerica. The ballpark is looking outstanding. Slider low and outside. Run the count even up now at 2-2 on Iguchi. It is jam-packed as you would expect. And they are ready to party here as the Tigers come home 5-1. Iguchi fouls it back out of play. Count stays even at 2s, and you know that Jeremy Bonderman has to be fired up. And for a guy that may be considered the staff ace, he is still only 23 years old. 14-game winner last year, looking to improve on that this year. He got him. First strikeout of the game for Jeremy Bonderman.
If he's got this pitch working all afternoon, it's going to be a tough day for the right-handed batters. Looks like a fastball. Last moment, darts out of the strike zone. Unhittable pitch.
Now with 2 gone, here is one of the big offseason acquisitions for the Sox, Jim Thome.
They've got a huge shift on him in the infield. Carlos Guillen, the shortstop, playing on the other side of the bag. That's Carlos. He's supposed to be your shortstop.
There are very few players, as a strike is called by third base umpire Jerry Davis. Thome went around. Very few players that you will see this employed against, but Thome is the type of hitter, a dead pull hitter with a ton of power.
Well, where Polanco's playing second base about 15 feet in the grass, that's a routine ground ball. They can throw Thome out from there.
He got to the outside corner, and what a start for Jeremy Bonderman. A 1-2-3 first inning. We are underway at Comerica. Still no score. Catch Ordonez, Young, and Shelton in the middle of the lineup. In the bottom 3, Guillen, the shortstop, Monroe in left, and Brandon Inge will bat 9th today, and he will play third base. Freddie Garcia, the right-hander, was roughed up in his first outing. He's ready to go, and here's the first pitch to Granderson. Curtis, 7 hits on the road trip, off to a .318 start this year. And a wave and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. Curtis had a couple of walks in the ballgame yesterday in Texas. He had 14 during spring training, showing a much better eye this year in that leadoff spot. He pops this one up. Foul ground, third base side. The wind playing with it, but Creedy has a play. And one away, and here's our pitching report on Freddie Garcia.
Had a good four-seam fastball a couple of years ago, 94, 95. Now he's got basically a sinker right around 89 miles an hour, but he's got a good curve. He's got a good fork ball. He'll throw them at any point in time, at any count, and he can command them both. But there always seems to be one inning during the course of the game where Freddie falls apart.
They'll face Placido Polanco now with 1 out, nobody on. Placido at 348 had 8 hits on the road trip. We know what he can do. He came over last year from the Phillies in the Urbina trade, and he immediately provided plenty of offensive dividends. And how about this? He skies this one to right center. It's going to die out there, though. Strong wind blowing in, and that is out number 2. We'll check out the Rico defense for the Chicago White Sox. This is how they line up behind Freddie Garcia. Tadahito Iguchi is patrolling second base. Only 1 error so far this year. They have Iguchi and Cintrone up the middle. Creedy and Konerko on the corners with Posednik, Makowiak, and Dye in the outfield. Brzezinski and Garcia, the Chicago battery today. There's Iguchi, who was an integral part of their success last year. Here's Pudge Rodriguez with 2 outs. That's lifted foul back out of play.
Didn't have a whole lot of stars on the Chicago White Sox team last year. They won the World Championship, of course, but their pitching staff really showed up in the postseason. They had Konerko, who had big monster numbers offensively, but by and large, everyone contributed.
And that's what you need when you're going to win a World Series. I mean, very few times will you see teams that have just 1 or 2 star players go out there and get it done.
They ran the bases well, they pitched well, and they defended. And they've got a fearless leader in Ozzie Guillen.
Pitching and defense, I think that falls under fundamental baseball, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's what the Tigers have been doing the first 6 games of the year. And that's why they're off to the 5-1 start.
1-2 on Pudge. Well, for Pudge, remember that 5-hit game he had in Kansas City to start the season early on in the recent road trip. Comes in at 350 today. 7 hits overall. He is in the 3 spot, hasn't moved from that position every time he has played, and I think Jim Leland has that plan all year. That's hammered toward left field, a breaking ball that was up, and Pudge has the first hit of the ball game. He's going to take the turn and go to second base, and he's in there safely. Pudge hustling out of the box, gets to second.
Pudge with 2 strikes, looking to go the opposite way, but once he sees the hanging breaking ball, his natural hand quickness just takes over. He rifles his ball into the outfield, and hustling out of the batter's box, Posednik in left field didn't field it cleanly. Now Pudge is in scoring position for Maglio.
Just as we were talking about fundamental baseball, we get our first error of the game for Scott Posednik in left.
Well, make no mistake about it, every game Chicago White Sox play this year is going to be like a World Championship game, because that's the team everybody's gunning for.
It's a good point. They will not sneak up on anyone this year. Former White Sox outfielder Maglio Ordonez, wearing Tigers colors these days, stands in. Freddie Garcia, known as the Chief, out of Caracas, Venezuela.
He's big enough to be a Chief.
Sure is. They ain't gonna mess with him. Ground ball, diving stop. Creedy comes to his feet and throws a one-hopper in time.
He's gonna win a Gold Glove before it's all over. My goodness.
Is that a great play or what? Joe Creedy saves a run for the White Sox. Understand, we make it work. And by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores. Welcome back to downtown Detroit. A look inside Chelly's Chili Bar. Well, they're fired up today and jam-packed as well. So is the stadium here today. Not too many seats to be had on opening day in Detroit. Jeremy Bonderman facing Paul Konerko to lead things off. Konerko, Dye, and then Pierzynski. And what a start it was for Jeremy, striking out a couple in that first inning.
Looks like he's got some lethal stuff today. The fastball in the mid-90s. And, of course, he always brings that slider with him. He'll throw a few changeups today just to keep these White Sox off balance.
Breaking ball swung on and missed, 0-2.
There it is, Mr. Snappy.
It has become the hallmark of Jeremy Bonderman. That slider has been deadly against right-handed hitters. That's in the air and hit well to right field. Ordonez back. He's to the wall, and it's off the wall. Konerko takes the turn. It got away from Ordonez on the bounce, and so Konerko will go into second with a leadoff double. Here's the rest of the Tigers Chrysler Jeep defense today. Saul Ordonez in right, Granderson in center, Monroe is in left. Inge, Guillen, Polanco, and Shelton along the infield. Pudge and Bonderman. Your battery in the Tigers defense has not committed an error yet this year. They've been outstanding with the glove.
Not a good 0-2 pitch there by Bonderman to Konerko. Konerko, one of the few guys that has had success against Bonderman in his career.
Jermaine Dye has been bothered by a strained calf in recent days. Back in the lineup, hitting .444 to start the year.
Most valuable player of the World Series last year was Jermaine Dye.
Checked his swing, didn't go. Pudge wanted the appeal, but was not given the appeal by Brian Gorman.
And Bonderman, knowing the situation, nobody out, runner on second base. White Sox, an unselfish team. They play fundamental baseball. Dye trying to hit something to the right side of the field.
That's hit on one hop, a hard hop to third. Inge has it there, and the runner will not advance. Bonderman came in on Dye, and all he could do was pull it.
That's good pitching. Knowing what the situation is, go ahead and crowd a guy like Dye. And Brandon Inge, boy, he makes a nice adjustment over there with his glove. Nothing Konerko can do.
Inge already this year has had a couple of bullets hit his way.
Well, he's going to get a whole lot more playing down there at that hot corner.
Here's the catcher, A.J. Pierzynski. That's in the air the other way. On the move is Monroe. Still going back. Reaches and makes the catch.
What a great jump and a great break for Craig Monroe. That is the only way that he's able to get to this ball. His first step is incredible. And you must take a direct route. Look at the route that he's taking to get to this ball. What a grab.
Nicely done, and the Tigers have turned in a couple of nice defensive plays here after the leadoff double. Craig Monroe last year played every outfield position for the Tigers. And with Granderson now firmly entrenched in center, Craig will see the majority of time out in the left. That was a nice play. Tigers outfield has been set most of the year with Ordonez in right and Granderson and Monroe joining him as well. Joe Creedy stands in. It was Creedy that made the great defensive play to save a run in the bottom of the first inning. So already we've seen some nice defense.
When Creedy's bat finally comes, and he has the ability to be a pretty good hitter, but when he starts to put up some good offensive numbers, he will be a perennial Gold Glove winner at that third base position.
Creedy 3 for his last 12. Konerko still standing at second base after leading off the inning with a double.
And the reason I say once he puts his offense together is because those of you that don't know, that Golden Glove award goes to a guy that has a pretty good offensive year as well.
We very rarely will see a guy win a Gold Glove batting .220.
Nope, don't happen. Got to be careful with him too, especially in this situation. 2 balls and no strikes. You don't want to give in to him with runners in scoring position. He does get big hits for the White Sox.
And the 2-0.
He went. Oh, no.
Oh, he didn't go around. Eric Cooper down at first base, make it 3-0.
I guess that's the right call.
Yeah.
Yep.
On the replay, it looked like he held up. They call that one a strike, a fastball up and in, 3-1. Creedy off to a slow start this year at .222. And And that one misses inside, ball 4. So after falling behind, Bonderman was not going to make a mistake against Creedy. First base open. He will face Rob McCoyak, former Pittsburgh Pirate, who was picked up in a deal that involved Damaso Marte, a left-hander out of the Chicago Pen.
Lloyd McClendon managed McCoyak in Pittsburgh. I'm sure Bonderman got a pretty good scouting report on him.
Hit to the shortstop. Easy play for Guillen. He'll fire to first. And the side retired. White Sox waste a leadoff double. Bonderman pitches through the jam. It's done. And the Tigers and White Sox are scoreless as we go to the bottom of the second. Dimitri Young leads it off. And Garcia starts him off, breaking ball down low. Young, Shelton, and Guillen here in the second inning. Eli trying to get it going offensively to start the season. It has been a slow go to this point. 3 hits on the road trip for Dimitri. And the 2-0 from Garcia, missing down low. 3 balls and no strikes. Garcia won 14 games last year for Chicago. There's a strike call. Part of a rotation that did unbelievable things in the postseason. Now the 3-1. 3-2.
Be surprised if he gives him another fastball here. He threw him one, but one thing Garcia, as far as the velocity is concerned, it's not been there last couple of years. His fastball right around 88 to 89, whereas in years past, he was a guy that was in the mid-90s.
Here's the full count pitch. Lifted foul back out of play. Well, I know we were watching some tape of Garcia before the game in the Tigers locker room, and I watched for about an inning and a half, 2 innings, and there was nothing that approached 88, 89.
And I think in the last couple of years, he's thrown so many changeups, so many breaking balls, and it's a terrific pitch for him. But he can't dial up the way he used to.
That swung out and belted high in the air toward right center field. A lot of room out there, though, and again, that wind is going to knock it down a little bit, and it's caught by McCoyak. So 1 away, and that'll bring up the player of the week for the Tigers, Chris Shelton. And he's getting himself a nice round of applause.
He got a nice round of applause when they introduced him today as well with the player introductions. He, along with Jim Leland, the loudest.
Well, he's in a big-time slump right now. He went from 700 all the way down to 583.
Do we cut him now or do we give him one more day?
I think you'd give him 1 or 2 more days. See if you can bust out of it. Popped it up. Foul ground, first base side. Konerko drifting, and making the play right at the tarp. 2 up, 2 down. So Garcia cruising along, and he'll face Carlos Guillen.
Carlos Guillen and Freddie Garcia, once teammates in the Houston Astros organization, and both players were traded to the Seattle Mariners for Randy Johnson back in 1998.
That was right at the trade deadline on July the 31st.
Last minute deal.
And I remember that deal coming down, and I couldn't believe that Randy Johnson
was being traded for nobodies at the time.
Well, not only that, but he ended up in Houston because Houston was not even in any of that talk and getting him. But yeah, you're right. At that time, who were these guys?
Yeah. John Halama was the other one that was in that deal. All 3 of those players are still in the big leagues, as a matter of fact. Halama. And of course, you see Guillen and Garcia here.
Carlos looks healthy, and that's really a good sign. He was bothered by a bad back late in spring camp, but he said, I'm going to be in their opening day in Kansas City. He was. And he has answered the bell, and a healthy Carlos Guillen certainly is a big key to the Tigers' prospects this year.
He has not had a day off yet. And most of the other regulars have had one. Monroe hasn't had one. Shelton had one, but everybody else. Just had a little time off.
Threw that one by him at 91 miles an hour, and the count goes to 3-2.
He's pitching a little differently than we've seen him pitch the last couple of years. He is throwing more fastballs today, even though the velocity is not there. I think he knows the Tigers are looking for some off-speed stuff.
There's ball 4. First walk given up by Garcia. Here are the numbers in his first start. He lost to the Indians on Tuesday, and man, he gave up 7 runs and 9 hits in just 4 innings. And almost threw 100 pitches in 4 innings.
A lot of crooked numbers.
Too many, as far as he's concerned. Tigers have their second base runner of the game. Here's Craig Monroe. It's a 2-run shot, 2-0 Tigers.
Craig Monroe starting to swing the bat a little bit better. A couple of doubles yesterday. Garcia has absolutely dominated him in his career to a tune of a 148 batting average, 5 for 27. But that's a big, big knock right there for Monroe.
Better adjust that scouting report. Swing and a miss by Inge. Big is right, because he had gotten off to a slow start. Missed a lot of spring training with an oblique problem and got off to the slow start in the regular season, but he's starting to come around now.
Well, he made a minor adjustment. We were talking, as I said yesterday before the game, and he just felt like his hands were getting away from his body, which was causing him not to have any leverage and not generate any power. But now he's keeping those hands close to home, and he's hit a couple of bullets the last 2 days.
Down goes in. John strikes on the side, retired. Tigers get a 2-out walk and then a 2-out long home run from Craig Monroe. A 2-run shot to give the Tigers an opening day lead. Edge here on opening day. And Jeremy Bonderman back to work with his first lead of the afternoon. Nothing like that 2-out hit to charge up the crowd. A 2-run shot by Monroe came with 2 away. First pitch is belted toward right field. It is hooking, and that ball will land foul. Well, Centrone gave it a ride and almost hooked it inside the pole down there.
He's got some power. They got him from the Arizona Diamondbacks toward the middle of spring training. He was out of options. They had no room for him in Arizona. And Kenny Williams, their general manager, made a deal for Centrone, and now he finds himself playing for the World Championship.
One ball, 1 strike. It'll be Centrone and then Posednik and Iguchi. Bonderman allowed a double in the second, and later in that inning a walk, but he pitched through that nicely. Struck out a pair in the first inning. Here's the 1-2. Lifted in the air. The left fielder Monroe has it. And that is out number 1 right now. Floating around the stadium is our own John Keating. Let's send it down to you, Keats.
All right, Mario, we all enjoy opening day, none more so than Paul Evola of Warren, who has made how many of these in a row now?
Since 1972. I think it's 35 in a row.
Is there one that stands out among all the rest?
They're all great, but I remember after the 84 World Champion Series, the 85 game when Evans led off with a home run against Jack Morris, and it ended up 1-0. It was snowing like crazy. And but they're all great, because it's just great to be out here, you know, to just see the spring's on its way and the Tigers are in town again. It's just, they're all great.
All right, how many lies have you told to parents or employers or teachers to make sure you were at each of these opening days?
Let's see, 35, 32.
32, all right. Well, enjoy the game. We appreciate it. Mario, there's Paul Evola. He'll probably be back for number 36 next April, and the rest of us hope so as well.
I'm sure he will. Thanks, Keats. And from what I understand, you've been coming to the ballpark since 1934, so good job down there. Posednik, the hitter. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Posednik popped up his first appearance, and he couldn't hold up. Down he goes. Bonderman has another strikeout.
He brought his A game today, did Bonderman. Very cool, calm, and collected out on the mound, and he appears to be on a mission. That slider is just a wicked pitch for him, and it has been since he's put on a uniform. Outstanding pitch. Speaking of uniforms, boy, those whites look good, don't they?
You kind of miss them after a while, don't you?
My favorite uniform in the big leagues. Always looks clean, too.
You're a traditionalist.
I love it.
Yeah.
Jim Schmeichel and his staff down in the clubhouse, they got some good detergent down there.
Yeah, how do they keep them so
I don't know.
Got to be some kind of trick to that.
Take up some of my laundry.
There's a base hit to left off the bat of Iguchi. And that'll bring up Jim Thome now. So the Sox pick up another hit. They're second of the ball game, and here is Thome, who fanned back in the first inning.
Well, you'd like to face this cat right here with the bases empty. That way you can do with him whatever you want. He's off to a pretty good start, and of course, he's got a lethal bat. He got some big-time power.
Well, he hit a 425-foot home run yesterday against Scott Ellerton of the Royals. High, towering fly ball into right field. Ordonez simply turns on this ball, and it will sail way back into the seats. Well, yikes. A long home run for Jim Thome.
Ordonez didn't move.
He doesn't just hit him far, he hits him high and far.
Oh, he's just strong. He's what you call country strong. An elevated fastball above the belt buckle. And most left-handers, folks, trust me when I tell you, they don't hit that pitch that far. They like the ball down. I'm talking about left-handed hitters. That ball was up in the strike zone, and he clobbered it.
Thome has his 4th home run of the season.
It's a great pickup by Kenny Williams, their general manager.
Here's Konerko. Well, they were in search of some left-handed power, and the thought of trading Aaron Rowan was not one that sat too well with some White Sox fans, but if healthy, Jim Thome is as good as it gets power-wise.
And he appears to be healthy this year.
2-2 game, each team with a 2-run shot. Monroe for the Tigers, and now Thome for the White Sox. That's drilled in the air, high and deep toward left. Monroe backing up almost to the warning track to retire the side. So the White Sox are able to draw even the 2-run shot by Thome. Granderson, Polanco, and Pudge coming up. Indians this Friday through Sunday and get 4 upper reserved tickets, hot dogs and soft drinks offered just $59. Check out DetroitTigers.com or call 313-471-BALL. Right now, ticket representatives are waiting to take your call. Freddie Garcia back to work, and Curtis Granderson, the Tigers leadoff man, stands in there. Granderson, then Polanco and Pudge. 2-2 game, each side with a 2-run homer. Curtis 0 for 1 with a pop-up. Seven hits on the road trip for Granderson, who I'm sure wanted to get off to a nice start this year. He won the job over Nook Logan in spring training. And a guy like Curtis, yes, he has an enormous amount of talent. Yes, he won the job, but he has to feel a little bit of pressure, especially playing center field and leading off, that he's got to produce from the get-go. I think young players are maybe given a little bit of a shorter rope than some veterans. That's grounded fair, and a nice play by Konerko at first base.
I think one of the things that helps a guy like Granderson is that he's so well prepared and a student of the game, and he does have some athleticism. And when you have the type of team the Tigers have, for the most part, veteran-laden from an offensive standpoint, that allows a guy like Granderson to just kind of fit in, be seen, not heard. And that's exactly the motto he follows.
Yeah, there is quite a cast surrounding him, which certainly makes it easier. One gone in the Tigers' third. That'll bring up Placido Polanco. Tigers at Comerica Park are 3-3 in home openers in this ballpark, and overall 56-48 in Detroit. That's popped up. The shortstop Cintrone to the grass. 2 outs. can't ask for a whole lot more weather-wise here at Comerica Park, a jammed house. Wouldn't expect anything less here on opening day, but the lights are on. There's been a little bit of cloudiness this afternoon, but the temperatures are pleasant.
Spectacular crowd. This ballpark is very special when it's full.
Here's Pudge Rodriguez. Pudge had a base hit back in the first inning. That's lined and caught at third by Creedy. Another fine defensive play. This time he climbs the ladder. And that's all for the Tigers. He played 3 and we're tied at 2. Question this afternoon on opening day. What do we have for you today? How many teams has Chris Shelton out-homered this season? How many teams has Chris Shelton out-homered? Think about that. And we will get you the answer in the bottom of the 4th inning. It's been that kind of start for Big Red. Jermaine Dye leads it off. It'll be Dye, Przinski, and Creedy. First pitch swinging is a one-hopper to third. Hey, let's go to the upper deck now, high above third base, and join John Keating. Keats.
Well, Mario, the sun is out, and I am closer to it now. We're all protected, SPF 30. It is truly a special place when it is filled as it was last summer for the All-Star game. And hopefully it will be come August and September when the Tigers are playing meaningful games. But there are lots of baseball fans, and this sort of reinforces our feeling what a great baseball town this can be. And the Tigers, from their standpoint, would like to play particularly well today. So some of the people watching them, because it is just opening day, will come back on a regular basis to see some terrific baseball. The Red Wings, by the way, are in attendance. Many of them will be once their practice was complete. And by the by, I have another job, and we'll have the Red Wings Edmonton Oilers game from Joe Louis Arena tomorrow night here on FSN.
All right, Keats, thanks. Feel free to make opening day next year with us. That'd be nice. Przinski flies to center.
He is the hardest working man in show business.
He is.
Not James Brown, John Keating.
He is all over the place. Brendan Shanahan in the crowd. There's some of the wings that Keats was talking about. Beautiful day for baseball, and some of the Red Wings out to help out the other home team. Joe Creedy, the batter. Creedy walked in the second and already has turned in 2 sparkling defensive plays. Bonderman struck out a couple in that first inning, gave up a 2-run homer in the third. He has 3 strikeouts total so far in this game. Broke his bat, and it's lifted in the air toward left, and Monroe will make the play in a 1-2-3 inning. The view John Keating just had high above third base at a sold-out Comerica. Ordonez leads it off for the Tigers as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Ordonez, Young, and Shelton in a 2-2 ball game, and Freddie Garcia, after giving up the 2-run homer in the second, has settled into this one nicely. It's back behind home plate. Giving a look is Przinski, and he will run out of room. Back into the seats it goes. And they'll battle for that souvenir. Maglio had the day off yesterday in Texas. Back in there this afternoon. Ordonez this year with a couple of home runs. He is a .306 lifetime hitter. You know, you talk about this White Sox team and the success they had last year. Freddie Garcia was 9-3 against the Central Division. Wow. And as a club, it was even more impressive. I mean, the White Sox really took care of business against the Central. How about 52-22?
That'll get it done. They also won 16 of their first 20 ball games, so they snuck on some people last year.
Ordonez fouls off another. 2-2 the count. Ozzie Guillen's team winning it all last year and off to a bit of a slow start this season. The 2-2 pitch. Got it. Good breaking ball for strike 3, 1 away. Second strikeout of the game. Aflac trivia question again. Aflac! How many teams has Chris Shelton out-homered this year? With a great start he has gotten off to, the answer is 6 teams. The Dodgers, the White Sox, Giants, Red Sox, Royals, and Padres. That just accentuates the season that Chris has had. One gone for Dmitri Young, who takes down low. Well, we had a special first pitch here today at the ballpark. We had a couple of them. Mayor Kilpatrick threw out one first pitch, and the other from the bus. Jerome Bettis. Jerome, welcome. We appreciate it. Welcome back home.
I appreciate it.
How are you, Rod Allen? How are you, Jerome?
Good, good. Great to be home.
Where's that ring?
We get it. We get it opening day, but hopefully I get a chance to see it before then. I'm real anxious.
Well, rumor has it you're the one that's designing the ring.
Yeah, myself and Mr. Rooney, we designed it, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's going to be special. We're going to have some trophies on it, and it should be real nice.
Good for you.
You got a picture of the bus on it?
I wasn't that influential.
Where'd the nickname come from, the bus?
Actually, it came from Notre Dame. When I was in college, they started calling me the bus out of nowhere.
Dmitri Young bangs one off the wall in left field. He's in with extra bases and a 1-out double.
We got a mini bus down there in DY.
I know. I got a chance to talk to him early in the clubhouse.
He's starting to swing the bat a little bit better. Yesterday he had swung it pretty good. He's starting to go the other way with some authority, which bodes well for him.
And I know if he can start hitting, I think that really helps this team a whole lot, right?
Without question.
Bus, how much do you follow the Tigers? Obviously, you're a Detroit native here, Mackenzie High School. Do you like baseball? Do you follow it a lot?
You know what? I follow the Tigers every chance I get. You know, I've been paying attention to them, especially on this run they've been having since they started the season. So I've been trying to pay attention to them.
Outstanding. Well, it's a terrific start for this ball club, and pay attention this year. Maybe it's you that's bringing them the good luck.
I hope so.
Be starting this season.
Jim Leland, skipper, had some very nice things to say about you. Of course, he spent some time in Pittsburgh. He talked about going to an auction one time and paying $1,200 for your jersey. He tell you that story today?
Yeah, he told me. He said, I bet you wouldn't pay him cent for my jersey. I said, no. I said, you win a championship, I'll buy it.
Look at Dimitri.
Look at DY trying to steal third, and he is safe. Oh. Wow. When was the last time we've seen that?
How about that landing?
He didn't stick it, I know that.
Check out the landing.
And
he never touched it. Great call. Great call by Jerry Davis. How about that slide, Bud?
Oh, that was bad. I thought my pitch was bad. Whoa, that was bad.
Speaking of that pitch, we got that.
No, we don't need to see that.
Yeah, we have that.
We've got it on tape. Now talk about your form a little bit, because obviously it had to be a little bit nerve-wracking for you out there in front of all these people.
You know, it was a little nerve-wracking, but you know, there's no reason for me to lay an egg like that.
And the mayor told you not to bounce it, didn't he?
And I threw out like
you shaking off the catcher.
Yeah, I didn't see. You know what the problem was? I didn't get that knee up enough. No drive.
It's all good.
It takes some guts to shake off Pudge Rodriguez. Nicely done. Shelton pops it up foul. This one will find the seats.
How special was it for you getting a chance to come back? I mean, everybody thought that you were going to retire last year, but you decided to come back for a final year, and you guys win the Super Bowl, and you get a chance to play in your hometown. How special was that?
I mean, it was enormous. You know, first of all, I didn't know that I was going to even be there this past year, and so for me to come back and have the season that we had, first of all, and have an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl, but for it to be in you know, your hometown, it was a dream come true, and the city was just incredible the whole time.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Chris Shelton. Talking with Jerome Bettis, the bus who threw out the first pitch, and a Super Bowl champion now. And obviously, Bus, that had to be a terrific experience for you. And, you know, there are a lot of times you'll have guys that have played, whether it's professional baseball, basketball, or football, for so many years, have great careers like yourself, but don't win that Super Bowl or that ultimate championship. For you, it had to feel good to happen.
you know what, it really was a dream come true, because I had started to come to the realization that I probably wouldn't win a championship, and I was, you fight with it internally and try to find a way that you can say, you know what, but it's okay, I didn't need it, I had a great career. But regardless of what you say, it's a team sport, and the goal every year is to win a championship. And when you don't win that championship and you walk away from the game without a championship, it leaves you a little bit unfulfilled.
A little bit of an emptiness, yeah. Well, for you, fortunately, you won't feel that. Here's Carlos Guillen with 2 outs.
Well, I know you're going to get into broadcasting here real soon, and I'm just going to tell you, as someone got in it very, not young, but at an older age, but be yourself. Keep having fun, keep smiling, because that's why they want you, partner.
Yeah, and the bottom line is, you got to tell like it is. And guys say, hey, man, don't talk bad about me. Hey, just don't play bad. If you don't play bad, I won't have a reason to talk bad about you. So that's it's always a hard part when you're a player, and then you have to switch gears.
Without question.
Exactly, that's the hardest thing. But the bottom line is you got to call it how you see it.
You'll be great at it.
Guillen takes the ball inside. Well, will it be difficult at all, even for the guys that you've played with, that are good friends with, to be honest?
You know what? And I told those guys early on that,
Come on now, be honest.
Understand that, hey, it's tough love. I still love you guys. I'll call you afterwards. But, you have to do it. They're paying me for my opinion. And if I go out there and dilute what I believe is the truth, then, I'm not giving them their money's worth. So my philosophy is got to go out there, call it how you see it. And if you guys don't like you at the end of the day, you got to deal with it.
Sound like they're going to beat you up.
They can't catch me anyway.
Young at third base, 2 outs. Tigers trying to snap this tie here. It's a 2-2 ball game. We're in the 4th inning on opening day here at Comerica Park. And the 2-2 pitch. That ball is hammered foul down the right field line.
Other than obviously winning the Super Bowl, which is a fabulous moment in anyone's career, what other fine moments do you have from your collegiate career or professional career?
Actually, you know what? This has been an incredible moment to throw out the first pitch. Growing up here as a Detroit native and have an opportunity to throw out the first pitch opening day. I mean, you always, every year, opening day was such a big thing for us in the neighborhood. So to be out here and to throw out the first pitch, that was something I didn't expect. And when they called me asking to do it, I was humbled, for this opportunity. So this has been amazing. So everything that's been coming because of the Super Bowl has been crazy.
Well, speaking of that Super Bowl, we have a shot here of the bus with the Super Bowl trophy, and it doesn't get any better than that, I'd imagine.
No, it doesn't.
They didn't want to let that thing go.
I did. I really did. That was special, man.
You worked hard for it.
Yeah, no question about it. That was it's a moment I will never, ever forget.
Real quickly here, Bus, while we have a chance, tell me about the Bus Stops Here Foundation.
Well, we started the foundation, back in '97, and the goal was to help at-risk and underprivileged kids. And so we've been doing a lot of good things. Lawrence Tech, technical school here in Detroit, they've been doing a great job with us with our cyber bus program, and it's been great because people have been very, very giving and helping us try to go out here and do some good things and try to inspire the kids, and that's what it's all about.
Well, Guillen draws a walk.
We need to keep you up here for a while because a lot of guys hitting since you've been up here sitting next to us.
I know. I was worried there for a minute. The bats are starting to roll a little bit.
See, look at Guillen. He's worried. He says the bus is in the booth right now. We've got some trouble brewing here.
How about you, before you started playing any football? Did you play some baseball, some Little League baseball and whatnot?
Actually, didn't play a lot of baseball. Played in the neighborhood, but organized baseball, didn't really play it. High school was so involved in football. Yeah, didn't get that opportunity to play baseball. But I would have liked to play.
Craig Monroe showing bunt, drops one down foul.
Wow, 2 outs, man on third.
He saw Creedy probably deep at third base.
Well, I tell you what, he caught everybody off guard. Everybody by surprise.
We saw Pudge trying to bunt yesterday, didn't we, in Texas?
Well, that's the way that White Sox team won a championship last year. I remember Jermaine Dodd doing the same thing against the Tigers one day, bunting with 2 outs and runner on third base. Whatever it takes to win.
0-1 on Craig Monroe. And that's hammered to the air to right field. Hit pretty well. Dye is going back to the warning track to make the catch. Well, we want to thank Jerome Bettis for spending some time with us. Great opening pitch, even though it bounced in. We appreciate it, Bus.
He had to bring that up. All right.
Appreciate that, guys.
Jazz band out in front of Comerica Park.
Jamming.
The crowd, yeah, jamming indeed.
You like jazz?
A little bit. I can listen to it a little bit.
I like it a little bit too. You tend to start to listen to a little jazz as you get a little older.
Yeah, that's kind of a slow down music.
But I got a couple of teenagers at home. Whew.
That is a foul ball and barely foul. Rob Makoviak, Alex Centrone, and Scott Posednik here in the 5th inning. Makoviak in his first at bat grounded out.
Nice of the Bus to stop by.
You know, that's the first time I've met him.
Enjoyable man.
Incredibly friendly is he.
Absolutely.
The 0-2.
Big old teddy bear.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Makoviak. Swing and a miss. Well, there's that slider inside and low, and Bonderman throws that to left-handed batters at the shins. Good night.
Not only is it a lethal pitch to the right-handed batters, but the left-handers don't pick it up very well. It looks like a fastball to them right down the middle, and then they swing and the ball disappears on them. His slider is one of the best for a right-hander in all of baseball right now.
4 strikeouts for Bonderman. Centrone flied to left in the 3rd. He's 0 for 1. This game is still tied at 2, courtesy of a couple of 2-run shots. Tomey for the White Sox and Monroe for the Tigers. Here's Bonderman's 1-1. Centrone was picked up from the Diamondbacks in March. He had himself a pretty good spring. He played for Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic
and got some playing time.
Did pretty well. Here's the 1-2. He had a big spring, though. 433 this spring for Centrone.
Oh, this is a nice pickup for them.
The 1-2. White Sox starting off at 2-4 this season. They won on opening day, beating the Indians, and then lost the next 2. Ozzie Guillen's club coming out of the gates a little bit slower than he anticipated or hoped for. Lift that one off his shoe tops in the shallow center. Granderson with a diving play, could not get it. He trapped it. Terrific attempt, though, from Curtis Granderson.
And second base umpire Bill Miller did an outstanding job. Very seldom do you see the umpire really get out there the way that he did. But as soon as this ball hits the ground, he is right there to make the call. It's a nice job by Bill Miller and a great effort by Granderson, as you mentioned.
1 on and 1 out. Here's the top of the order, Posednik. It has not been a good start for Scott Posednik. He is now 1 for 24.
And he is probably the most important piece to their offense. The other big guys are nasty, and they're tough. Konerko, Tomei, Dye. But when they were going good at the beginning of the season last year, it was Posednik that was getting on base with regularity, stealing bases, wreaking havoc on the defense and catchers, opposing catchers. Very important to this team.
Posednik stole 59 last year.
Remember he pulled that groin, went on the disabled list, and the White Sox really the second half of the season weren't the same, but they did turn it up a notch once the postseason rolled around.
Well, he was also bothered by some shoulder tendonitis this spring. That slapped foul back out of play.
White Sox were healthy for the most part last year from a pitching standpoint. They had 4 starters through over 200 innings. Ozzie Guillen, Kenny Williams, they played smart ball. They didn't call it small ball. They called it smart ball.
But you bring up a good point. You have to stay injury-free, I think, to have the type of year they did, for the most part. You can't suffer too many big injuries. You know, Frank Thomas went down, and he no longer is in the White Sox organization playing in Oakland now. But aside from that, really no major injuries to set them back.
Last year's manager of the year, Ozzie Guillen. He's been quiet this spring too. He's been kind of quiet. He hadn't said a whole lot.
Not as chirpy?
No, he hadn't made the headlines too much this year.
That's because Frank Thomas and Kenny Williams were making the headlines in Chicago.
Yeah, they went at it, didn't they?
They went at it really good. 1-2 on Posetnik. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jeremy overthrew that last fastball up in the zone.
And Centrone not blessed with a lot of speed over at first base. And of course, Pudge Rodriguez probably the best thrower from a catching standpoint in all of baseball. But with a 2-2 count and as many sliders as Bonderman has thrown, they may attempt to get Centrone down in the scoring position.
Little looper into right field. Ordonez is there, and he'll run it down. 2 gone. Hey, every Friday, take a trip around Major League Baseball with the FSN Baseball Report. It covers every team all season long with highlights, interviews, and analysis you won't find anywhere else. FSN Baseball Report, Friday at 6 right here on FSN. 2 away for the White Sox in the 5th inning. Tadahito Iguchi. He's 1 for 2. Centrone hasn't attempted a steal this season. Being held at first by Chris Shelton. Iguchi last year finished 4th in the American League Rookie of the Year voting. Had himself a pretty solid season. May not have been spectacular, but the solid numbers all the way around after coming over from Japan.
Just a good baseball player. It doesn't have the flair of an Ichiro. Doesn't have the power of a Matsui in New York. But he fields his position well. Does all the little things. He can steal a base. He can bunt. And that's the reason why they brought him from Japan.
There goes the runner. Bouncing ball hit to the right side and through. A base hit. Polanco was headed to second to cover. That left the right side of the infield wide open. And Iguchi has a 2-out single to put runners at the corners.
Not a hit and run with 2 outs, but you see Polanco vacate his position and the ball goes right through where he vacated it. If Polanco could do it all over again, he wouldn't take off and run for the bag, but he would simply shuffle his way toward the bag, and then if the ball hits back to his left, he can reposition himself and get there. But once he starts to turn and run towards second base, it's impossible for him to get back to that position.
Well, and it's set up a tough situation now for Bonderman, who has runners at first and third, and facing Jim Thome, who took him deep back in the 3rd inning. And he hits the outside corner with an off-speed pitch, a strike 0-1.
He can't be afraid to throw a good fastball to Thome. The toughest pitch for anybody to hit is a good fastball on the inside part of the plate or a good fastball down and away. But you have to crowd a guy like Thome if you're going to get him out. They're going in there. That's where you have to go. And at least put that thought in Thome's mind that you're not afraid to go in there. And then you may get away with something on the outside part of the plate.
The White Sox this year have 4 home runs as a team. All of them have been hit by Thome. And now Bonderman ahead 1-2.
A couple pretty good changeups that he's thrown Thome in this at-bat already. Doesn't have to be a great changeup. Just a change of pace.
A little bit outside and low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tomey began his career with the Cleveland Indians. Then he went to Philadelphia in 2003. Spent 3 years with the Phils. Of course, last year was an injury-riddled season. Played in just 59 games.
He was hurt quite a bit in 2004, too, wasn't he?
No, he played 143 that year.
He did.
Oop. There's a strike called. He got him looking. Buckled his knees, and Bonderman has another strikeout, his 5th of the ball game. This one was big.
FSN Detroit takes you around the bases with the Tigers on and off.
Day at Comerica Park, and what has turned out to be a cool but beautiful day for baseball here. Brandon Inge leads it off for the Tigers. It'll be Inge and then Granderson and Polanco. 2-2 ball game. Monroe has a 2-run homer. Tomey has a 2-run shot. Inge is 0 for 1. Garcia struck him out back in the 2nd. Freddie's been flirting with disaster all day long. The Tigers have put up a base runner in every inning but the 3rd, and that's because Garcia got a couple of great defensive plays behind it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Inge batting in the 9 slot today. He's been all over the lineup so far this year. That ball is lifted in the air toward left. On the move is Posednik, coming to the line to make the catch. 1 away. Well, we've traded in John Keating for Ryan Field. Let's go back into the crowd. Ryan, what's up?
Hey, Mario, we're down here in left field, the front row of left field with our good friend Brandy from Chesterfield. Brandy, what is your favorite part here about opening day?
Well, my seats are great, the weather's great, but I really like seeing these hot guys in tight pants.
You know, Mario, I think a lot of girls in the house today might be thinking the exact same thing. Let's send it back to you upstairs.
Are your pants tight today? My question is, Mr. Ryan Field.
I hope not, the way I'm squatting down here.
Well, now that was interesting. Here is Granderson with 1 out. Ryan gets the tough assignments all the time. Must have himself a good agent.
Can we go back to Ryan?
Let's not, please. Until he repositions himself somewhere around the field, we'll check in a little bit later on. Curtis Granderson 0 for 2, pop up and a ground out. Freddie Garcia out of Caracas, Venezuela. Boy, what a postseason he had. He was 3-0 in postseason play with an ERA a shade over 2. And he takes care of Granderson. Up high to strike him out.
Throwing a lot more fastballs today than he has in the past, at least in the past when he's pitched against the Tigers. He has the decent fastball, but he always relies on the changeup and the breaking balls, but he has not thrown a whole lot of them today.
Here's Polanco. Placido's hit the ball in the air twice. 0 for 2. Garcia with a high strike. Placido thought that one was a little bit up. That one was a little bit too far up to be called a strike. 1-1. 8 hits on the road trip for Polanco. Off to a nice start this year. He's one of those guys that you really don't notice all that much. Just goes out and does the job, gets on base. Look at Creedy.
They better try somebody else. Jeez.
Creedy with another play. This one popped out of his glove, but he stayed with it. And Pierzynski. Jeremy struck out Tomey with runners at 1st and 3rd in the 5th inning. 5 strikeouts for the Tigers right-hander. And aside from giving up the home run to Tomey, it's been pretty smooth sailing for him for the most part. Slider outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Jeremy's going to give up a few home runs during the course of the season because he throws so hard. And a lot of times guys that throw hard, when the opposition makes contact because of the velocity of the fastballs, they get a little extra carry. So he's going to give up a few.
I would also be willing to bet that he will not be the only guy to give up a home run to Jim Tomey the rest of the year.
Oh, no.
He gets just about anybody out there. Tomey over 400 career home runs. Konerko has a double and a fly ball. And the 2-1 is inside. Run it to 3-1 now.
Now, he may want to go back in there with another fastball. Tomey looking for something off speed. Excuse me, Konerko He doesn't think Bonderman will challenge him with another fastball. And so if he does throw the breaking ball, he must locate it well. Changeup.
Wow, low and away, and he missed it.
You know, speaking of Tomey and Konerko, the two big bats they have in their lineup, this may have been the at-bat of the game. A little changeup outside, fastball in, threw another changeup that he took, and then he finished him off with an outstanding breaking ball on this next offer. That pitch you just can't hit. Tomey gave up on it. Strike 3.
Leadoff man is on. The second walk given up by Bonderman today. That'll bring up Jermaine Dye. Sox have 5 hits today. The Tigers have 3. Dye is 0 for 2 with a couple of ground balls.
These type of situations right here are the ones that Chuck Hernandez has been talking to his pitching staff about. When you feel like you are backed up against a wall, don't try to throw harder. Just concentrate on making one good pitch. Get your ground ball, get your double play.
Ground ball right here would be nice. He's already got a couple of them from Dye. Jermaine had a nice year last year with 31 home runs. Then he went on to be the World Series MVP. Hit .438 in the White Sox sweep of the Astros. Broke into the big leagues with Atlanta very briefly. Spent some good years in Kansas City, then on to Oakland, and last year was his first year with the White Sox.
Nice job and nice leadership by Carlos Guillen going in to settle down the young right-hander Bonderman.
Seen Jeremy throw that slider away to the big right-handed hitters that the White Sox have had in their lineup. He's used that pitch quite a bit today. That time he missed, though.
Can't be afraid to use his fastball. It's a good pitch for him. Overpowering on most days.
There it was, and he swings right through it. 3-2.
Good two-seam fastball. Decision time now. And maybe not even a decision with Konerko running, but does he send him 3-2? Try to stay out of the double play. Nope.
Swung out and missed. He tipped it right into the glove for strike 3. 6 of them now for Bonderman.
Good two-seam fastball. 2 really good back-to-back two-seam fastballs. The movement on that pitch was incredible in on the hands of Dye.
1 on, 1 out. So that'll bring up A.J. Pierzynski.
It's one thing to throw 93 to 95, partner, but when you got that kind of movement, when you're throwing that hard, it's a special pitch.
Especially against those big right-handed hitters right in on the fists. And Dye couldn't do anything with it. Pierzynski today is 0 for 2. Monroe made a great play on him back in the second. They had a man in scoring position, and Craig ran down a ball that he hit toward left field to the warning track. That ball is hit in the air to the right side. The second baseman Polanco calling for it.
It stayed up there forever.
Plenty of time for Placido to get back there. Much easier play for him than the first baseman Shelton. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Joe Creedy. Creedy has a walk to his credit today. Strike called on the outer edge, 0-1. Creedy hit 22 home runs last year, hit .252. He is a lifetime .255 big league hitter. We talk about his defensive prowess last year, only two American League third basemen had a better fielding percentage, Hank Blaylock and Bill Miller. And Creedy was third ahead of guys like A-Rod. 1 ball and 1 strike. That ball is hit well toward left center field. Monroe is on the run, still going back, and that ball is gone.
He's a big-time player.
It is a home run for Joe Creedy.
Boy, does he get big hits for them.
And that is a big one here today, a 2-run shot which breaks the 2-2 tie.
It's a changeup that just stays right around the belt buckle. And Creedy doesn't try to do a whole lot with it, just muscles the ball on a line into the White Sox bullpen. Good swing.
His first home run of the season. And that's the first home run the White Sox have gotten from a player other than Jim Thome. And you can see that at Comerica Park, considered a pitcher's park, Creedy has done some pretty good damage. 10 home runs now at Comerica. That's a pretty good number for an opposing player. Bonderman trying to regroup. 2 balls and 1 strike on Makoviak. Makoviak out in center field. They've had Brian Anderson as well once they traded Aaron Rowan. The talk was they would give Anderson an opportunity to play center field as Chuck Hernandez gets on the phone now. And there is activity in the Tigers pen. Lefty-righty combination throwing out there. The lefty is Jamie Walker. The right-hander is Chris Sperling. Three and 2 on Makoviak. He tried to check it, but it went around. Strike 3. Bonderman rolls up his 7th strikeout of the ballgame, but a 2-run shot by Creedy has broken the tie. And here come the Tigers in the 6th inning. It'll be Pudge Rodriguez to lead it off against Freddie Garcia.
Pudge has hit a couple of balls right on the screws today. One for a single in left field, and the other one, Joe Creedy, the third baseman, made a very nice play on, which he has done quite often today, talking about Creedy. Base hit.
Yeah, that one on the fist, and Pudge strong enough to just loop it into right.
That's how you hit 300. If you're not afraid to get jammed, more often than not, you can muscle this ball into the outfield. Boy, does he pull his hands in nicely there.
That'll bring up Maglio Ordonez. So the leadoff man is on here against Garcia.
You know, Maglio trying to make the adjustment with his front foot. When he does stride, and you brought it up the other day, partner, when you and I were watching the game, he opens that front side up sometimes a little bit too much.
High, towering fly ball hit well into left center field. Going to stay in the ballpark, though. Makoviak, the center fielder, makes the play. And Pudge has to retreat. Yeah, we were watching Ordonez, and he's one of the few guys that really opens up that front foot.
Take a look at the front foot here. See where it starts? Now, once it gets over into this area, there's really nothing here in this part of your body to generate any power whatsoever. Your power is already gone toward the left field side. So you take a swing, and you hit it off the end of the bat versus hitting it on the meat part of the bat, which would allow you to drive the ball out of the ballpark. Foot, just nothing firm on the front side, and you have to have that. That's a home run.
Here's Dimitri Young. Hasn't he always hit that way, though?
You know, I really haven't noticed, but I do know that you're not going to drive balls with authority if you open up your front side that much, because there's nothing there to generate any power. You can make contact, but you're not going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and that last fly ball was a good example of it. He made some contact, but it just fell short out in left center field. Young fouls it back out of play. DY had a double in the 4th and then stole third base, believe it or not. With a head first dive, Tigers could not get him home, though. Threw that one by him, the elevated fastball, and the count goes to 1-2. Young had 1 stolen base all of last year. He has now equaled that total this year already. 25 of them in his career. That has not been a big part of his game. Driving in runs has been. Here's the 1-2.
Freddie throwing a lot of fastballs today. Don Cooper, their pitching coach, must have gotten his ear after his last start. We put up the numbers earlier if you weren't with us. They weren't pretty. But he has thrown a lot of fastballs today, Mara, and you brought it up. A lot of the Tigers are watching film in the clubhouse before the game. Nothing but change-ups, nothing but breaking balls. But today, they've gotten a lot of fastballs.
And that fastball has been up around the 90 range as well. There goes the runner. It is outside. Throw down to second, not in time. Hey, Pudge has himself a steal.
He has stolen some bases in his career. Pretty good read. Nice ball to throw for Brzezinski, but not blessed with overpowering arm strength. That's one thing you can do against the White Sox. If you have some guys that can run a little bit, you can steal some bases.
105 in his career now in the stolen base category. You're right, he's run a little bit. But would you have guessed that D.Y. and Pudge would have stolen bases today?
Oh, I'm not surprised by Pudge stealing the base at all.
Swung out and missed. D.Y. chased one again out of the strike zone, struck him out.
D.Y. absolutely.
5 strikeouts now for Garcia. So the runner, Pudge, still in scoring position. We'll see if Shelton can deliver with 2 outs.
Hey, last time Shelton was up, a runner on third base, less than 2 outs, and he struck out. He has not looked good his last 6 at-bats, but he is human. And you tend to get spoiled by the start that he got off to. It's time for him to get back to the basics, and that's just driving the ball the opposite way, up the middle. That's when he's at his best.
Well, a base hit the other way here would score a run. The right fielder dives deep. And he crowds him inside and high, 1-0.
I guess they feel like that's the way they can get him out.
The numbers on the player of the week, Chris Shelton. At 583 the first week of the season with 5 home runs.
Now, who is hitting better than 583?
Nobody right now. Was that second? Did that say second?
Yes, it did.
Well, somebody apparently is. That would be Ramon Hernandez of Baltimore, who checked in at 688. But he doesn't have the power numbers that Shelton had.
It's nice to get off to a good start.
Well, it's 2-0 on Shelton. And they gave him a fastball, but missed high and inside, way high and inside. 3-0 with Guillen waiting on deck. Pudge led it off with a single, then a stolen base. And it's line fair. Inside the bag at third. It goes to the corner. This will get a run in. Pudge will score. Posednik digs it up. Not after it's an RBI double from Chris Shelton. And the Tigers get one back.
You know, I started to say be careful here, 3-0. Shelton's probably swinging. But I thought he would not swing. Shelton very seldom swings at 3-0 pitches. As a matter of fact, he takes pitches all the time. And I think he may have caught Freddie Garcia off guard and Brzezinski in rifling this ball down the left field corner. It's a great job.
10th RBI of the year for Shelton. It's a 4-3 game. And now the tying run out there at second base for Carlos Guillen. And again for the Tigers, a key 2-out hit. The home run that Monroe hit back in the second also came with 2 outs.
He may be awfully careful with Carlos in this at-bat.
That's pulled foul.
He's got the base open, 2 outs, left-hander going against the right-hander. And even though Monroe has already homered in the game today, Freddie, for the most part, has handled him in his career.
So you're thinking nothing too good to hit in this at bat?
Well, that first pitch was ball 1, but Guillen is a little bit aggressive, so we'll see how he goes after him now.
5 Tigers hits with that double from Shelton. Bouncing ball hit to the right side, ranging left is Iguchi. So the Tigers will settle for a run. They get it on a 2-out RBI hit by Big Red. It worked. Packed house here at Comerica Park on opening day 2006 here in the Motor City. Tigers coming home at 5-1 after a very good road trip to start the year. And they trail by a run today. Alex Centrone leads it off for the White Sox. He'll be followed by Posednik and Iguchi. Ball high and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Centrone 1 for 2. Had a base hit back in the 5th inning. Bonderman has surrendered a couple of homers today. 1 to Creedy and 1 to Tomey. Jeremy has also rolled up 7 strikeouts. Jeremy last year averaged about 7 strikeouts a game, just a little bit less per 9 innings. And he is at that mark here this afternoon. Grounded to the right side. Polanco handles this one. 1 up, 1 away. And right now, let's head out to the statues out at left center field. Ryan Field is standing by. Ryan.
Hey, Mario, offices around the city today are a little short-staffed, and for good reason. It's unofficial sick day. Joe here is a police officer in Grosse Pointe. Joe, do you feel like you're breaking the law today?
No, it's a sick day for myself.
And, of course, everybody back at the station is watching. Eric, what do you have to say to your boss today?
Yeah, it's all mobile. We can take care of it all on the cell phones. Right.
Technology today, guys. You got to love it. We'll send it back to you upstairs.
All right, Ron, thanks. Behave yourself out there. Here's Posednik, the top of the order. He shows bunt, takes it outside, 1-0. 0 for 3 for Posednik, and his slump continues now. 1 for 25 to start this season. You talked right about the importance of getting off to a good start. Obviously, every player wants to get off to a good start, but when you have a beginning like Posednik has right here, it kind of tends to build and build and build, and then you kind of get into a hole that maybe sometimes you can't get out of. That's skied in the air to center field, and Granderson is under it.
The one thing Posednik has going for him, though, is the fact that he knows that he can do it. He's done it already for about 3 years in the big leagues, had a very good year last year. He knows that he has a manager in Ozzie Guillen that really relies on him. So I guarantee you, Ozzie Guillen down in that dugout is very, very confident and showing a lot of confidence in Posednik. This will help him.
Zabaya has joined Walker now in the Tigers' pen. And Brandon McCarthy is throwing in the White Sox bullpen. There's a strike called on Iguchi, and the count quickly 0-2. So the pitch count starting to elevate now here in the 7th inning for Bonderman. The 0-2 is swung on and missed. He got it. 8th strikeout of the game. Pitch 101 for Bonderman. We have a wall side windows pitching change. Garcia done for the afternoon. It's Brandon McCarthy who checks in.
Well, he's good enough to pitch in their rotation, but they are rich in pitching. So young Brandon McCarthy finds himself pitching out of the bullpen, but it won't be long before he finds himself in one of those starting roles. Boy, he's got an electric arm, good breaking ball, good changeup, good-looking young pitcher.
Well, it's a tough rotation to crack right now, but I think you're right. In the future, he is only 22 years old. He'll be in a starting rotation. He made 10 starts last year for the White Sox, was 3-2. So the Tigers, down by a run here on opening day, will bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. And it'll be Craig Monroe, Brandon Inge, and Curtis Granderson. Well, the adjustments for Craig Monroe continue. He's hit the ball hard again twice today. We started to see it come around yesterday in Texas. 2-run shot here this afternoon. One ball and one strike. Swung on and belted again toward left center field, but this one is going to drop. Posednik started back, looked like he was going to go to the warning track, and then it just died on him.
Not good defense here by Posednik. I think he got fooled by the swing of Monroe. This ball is off the end of the bat, and it's a ball with his speed he can catch. But once you break back 2 or 3 steps, very tough to recover.
It's been a tough day for Posednik. He's hitless. He's committed an error, and that one drops in. That's a tying run.
Yeah, he has had a little bit of a tough time out there today. Tigers will take it, though.
Here is Inge.
Sacrifice situation, maybe.
I think it is.
I think the White Sox believe that Brandon may be sacrificing here as well. That's why you saw the quick pickoff by McCarthy.
That is butted foul. So at least on the first pitch, Inge was trying to move the runner up.
Well, this is the part of the game that Jim Leland said the team had to get better at. 7th inning on, they had to execute. They had to do the little things, and if he gives the bunt sign, he expects them to get it down.
One strike on Brandon Inge. 0 for 2 today. Strikeout and a fly ball, and another toss back to first base.
If you're Brandon, you're trying to bunt this ball down toward first base. You don't want to bunt it to Creedy anyway. He's got such a good glove. He might come up and get the force out at second base. Make the first baseman field this bunt. If he's bunting. He is.
Uh-oh. And he popped it up. Oh, nice play by Pierzynski. Down to the shin guards to make that basket catch, and that does not get the job done.
Great effort by Pierzynski. Pretty good form there. The last moment, him just pulling that bat back a little bit too quick instead of keeping it out in front and allowing the softness of the bat or the way you're holding the bat dead in the ball.
So Monroe stays at first base. Now the top of the order, Curtis Granderson.
Now you can run on Pierzynski though. I don't know about McCarthy yet. We'll take a look, but you can steal a base here.
And Craig has that ability.
Yep, and McCarthy's got a pretty high leg kick. Should they choose to, even though Brandon didn't get his job done, you may try to steal another base here. They've already stolen 2 today.
0-1 on Granderson. Fouled back out of play, and this is what makes that leadoff position in the lineup a little bit more difficult to learn, because you do have to take a pitch every now and then, and in some cases that'll put you behind in the count, like it is here. 0-2 on Granderson. That's popped up. Foul ground at third base. Creedy coming toward the dugout, has room.
Creedy's everywhere.
He's been there with the glove today and with the bat, Joe Creedy. He's hit a 2-run homer. He's made a couple of nice defensive plays. Big part of their effort today. Here's Polanco. Placido hitless. You know you're having yourself a pretty good season when you are voted Tiger of the Year, and you've only been here about a half a year. That's what the situation was with Polanco last year, but he was voted Tiger of the Year by the Baseball Writers Association, and he made an immediate impact when he came to Detroit.
Just a good all-around baseball player. It doesn't wow you with his tools. I mean, not overly talented in that regard, but who says you have to be successful up here? But he does all the little things right, unselfish, good team player, good in the clubhouse.
In the air to shallow right field. Iguchi going back with a nice play. Boy, the White Sox have been flashing the leather today, and that'll take care of the side. We played 7-4-3 Sox. And fans receive a Tigers calendar, and one lucky fan attending that game will win a 7-day luxury Caribbean cruise. Compliments of the Tigers. For tickets, call 248-25-TIGER or log on to DetroitTigers.com. Well, Jeremy Bonderman is done for the afternoon. After 7 innings, he threw 101 pitches today with 8 strikeouts, allowing a couple of home runs. And the new pitcher is Jamie Walker.
And more than likely, Jamie will be in just to face one guy, and that will be Tomei, the left-hander. And then Jim Leland more than likely will go back to his bullpen. Best pitch in baseball, strike one. Well-located strike one. Bonderman pitched a pretty good game, partner. Really only made a couple of mistakes.
Yeah, the 2 home run balls, that's really it.
Yep, the elevated fastball to Tomei, and then the hanging changeup to Creedy. Other than that, he was stellar.
Tomei's home run back in the 3rd, a 2-run shot, his 4th of the year. He is 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts against Tomei, or against Walker, I should say. And that's down low from Jamie. 2-1. Zamaya also in the Tigers' pen, so more than likely we'll see him come on after Walker tries to get Tomei. Looks like he has. Shelton makes the play. It is 3 unassisted, 1 gone. And Jim Leland now will make his way out to the mound. So the situation called for a lefty, and Walker got his job done by getting Tomei. 1 away. Joel Zamaya will check in. Another pitching change. We'll be back. Lock down the NHL's best overall record tomorrow when they host the Edmonton Oilers in a potential first-round playoff matchup. Live coverage begins with a pregame show at 7 p.m. Red Wings Oilers tomorrow night on FSN Detroit, followed by more coverage on the Busch Light DSR postgame. Well, we have a new pitcher now for the Tigers, and it's the hard-throwing right-hander, the youngster Joel Zamaya.
Let's see if he starts Konerko off with a breaking ball. I know Konerko was in that on-deck circle watching that blazing fastball come toward home plate and feels like he has that pitch time.
Yep. Called that one. This is the first opportunity Tigers fans have had to see Mr. Zamaya. There's the heater, 99.
Oh!
Curveball fastball.
Hello, darling.
1 ball, 1 strike. Beautifully located as well. Konerko has a double and a walk. There's another fastball. This one is turned on, though, deep into left field, and it's gone. Well, Konerko says you might have some heat on that heater, but watch this.
Yep, he let him see one, and he got it up there in a hurry. And that second one, boy, he whistled it out of here. I mean, he whistled that bad boy out of here.
3rd home run of the game for the White Sox. This one got out quick.
Oh, great concentration. Short and quick. Zamaya supplied all that power.
Boy, is that a big home run. That is now a 2-run game again for the White Sox. And a breaking ball down low to Jermaine Dye. So Konerko joins Creedy and Tomei with the White Sox homers today. Dye late in the fastball, 1-1. Zamaya out of Chula Vista, Southern California. Another fastball in on his hands.
Said his mom and dad had a chance to watch him pitch opening day in Kansas City. And said that was the first time his dad had seen him pitch since high school.
Really?
Yeah.
That's popped up. The shortstop Guillen calling for it.
And then, of course, we saw him in Texas, and he had some other family members in Texas and watching him pitch.
Really had a big year last year. He went 9-5 between Erie and Toledo, striking out just about everybody that came in his path. Here's Pierzynski with 2 outs.
When Zamaya's on the mound, if you're in the outfield or even in the infield for that matter, you can go ahead and shade the right-handers a tad the opposite way and the left-handers the opposite way, because not a whole lot of guys are going to do what Konerko did. Konerko's a special player.
Pierzynski today 0 for 3. 5-3 White Sox. Picked up a run to go up by 2. That's right in front of the plate. Easy play for Pudge. And the throw is in time to retire the side. The home run by Konerko has made it a ball. The White Sox lead the Tigers 5-3 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Brandon McCarthy back to the hill, facing the middle of the Tigers lineup. Pudge and then Ordonez and Young. McCarthy came on in the 7th inning, gave up a leadoff single, but then got 3 hitters in a row. Tigers have some work to do. They managed 3 runs against the starter Freddie Garcia before McCarthy came in.
McCarthy long and lean out there, isn't he?
6'7", 195. That's what they have him listed at. Good pitch on the outside corner.
Long, tall drink of water.
Only 22 years old. He challenged him with a fastball there on 1-2, and it was fouled back out of play. McCarthy last year was 3-1 with a 1.69 ERA in 7 games after he was recalled from Charlotte for the final time last August. So down the stretch, he was really good. Roll to the shortstop. Centrone throws wild.
Oh, no, he's off the base.
I don't know about that.
Well, Van Slyke's got to say something.
Boy, did it look like he yanked Konerko off the bag. And
my eyes must be getting bad.
Well, Van Slyke is right there.
I could have swore he was off the base. Borderline, I guess, at best.
That was close. No argument from Van Slyke down at first base. And Eric Cooper was right on the play to make that call. 0-1 on Maglio. That's line to right field and a base hit. Tigers have 1 on and 1 out. Right now we go to the studio. Let's join Mickey York with a preview of your Detroit Sports Report.
All right, Mario, after the game on this opening day, we'll go back to Comerica for post-game coverage galore. We'll hear from Jim Leland live. Ryan Field provides reaction from the clubhouse, and we'll take a look at the Tigers' much-improved defense. Plus, we'll chat with you, Mario and Rod. Got your rally caps on, fellas?
We do, and we can't wait for it. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a Tigers victory here. Dimitri Young stands in. 7 hits now for the Tigers. Ordonez gets his first of the afternoon. It'll bring the tying run to the plate. Bouncing ball hit to first. Konerko spins to second one. Here comes the relay. It is dug out in time for the double play. 3-6-3 twin killing. We'll go to the Pirates. This is his first year in the American League. And he got him with a fastball at 98 on the gun.
And this will be our Comcast high-speed pitch. 98 miles an hour.
And that is 9 strikeouts for Tigers pitching. Tough play. Polanco feeding Zamaya. Got him!
Nice job all the way around.
Whoa, that was done very nicely. 1, 2, 3, they go. Tigers hoping to rally on opening day. Bottom of the 9th coming your way. Jenks will take over, trying to close this one down for Chicago.
Well, his second year as a closer, and really he didn't emerge until the second half of the season, but he was very, very good for them and solidified their bullpen. He's been a little erratic so far here this year in the early going and spring training. And hopefully the Tigers can score a couple of runs off of him.
Shelton, Guillen, and Monroe. And perhaps more than that here in the 9th inning. We'll see. Shelton 1 for 3 with an RBI double. And Jenks misses down low, 1-0.
A couple of power arms on the mound. One for Zamaya and, of course, Jenks. He can touch 100 miles an hour on the radar gun as well. Guys just didn't throw this hard when I'm playing. I'm glad they didn't. Boy, I wouldn't have lasted very long.
They came onto the scene just a little bit after you.
Yeah, I don't know what they was feeding these boys here, but they're some hard throwers.
Jenks last year averaged over 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. And a strike call, 2-1. Better than 44,000 looking for a 9th inning rally here today. Fouled back out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 44,179.
They got them packed in here today.
You are looking at a Comerica Park record.
Standing room only. People standing everywhere.
The 2-2 is strike 3 called right at the belt. Shelton doesn't believe it. Has a couple of words for Brian Gorman on the way back to the bench.
This fastball had a little running action to it. It started inside and it cut right back over the heart of the plate, and that ball is above the belt buckle. You won't see this get called a strike very often. That boy, that's at the top of the strike zone.
1 away. Here's Carlos Guillen. Tigers need a runner to bring the tying run to the plate. Guillen has walked a couple of times, has scored a run. Threw that one by him at 96, 0-2. Jenks, originally property of the Anaheim Angels, or Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and was claimed off the waiver wire in December of 04, and is now the Sox closer. Breaking ball rolled to first. Scooped there by Konerko. 2 gone.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Detroit Tigers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Here's Craig Monroe. Last chance for the Tigers here, down by 2 in the 9th. Ground ball to short, could do it. Cintrone has it, and the White Sox will win here today against the Tigers as they spoil opening day in Detroit with a 5-3 victory.
Got to give them credit. That's how the White Sox played all season last year. They made some stellar defensive plays. They got big hits when they needed them.
And they got enough big hits today and enough pitching to pick up their 3rd victory of the season. 5-3 the final score. We'll be back to wrap things up from Comerica Park right after this.